Welcome to HDPP Live on a Wednesday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District past and present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. Wearing Hinckley's six of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's Cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chapter of causes. History supporting local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. As sweet as honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it HDPP.
There they go. Good evening, and all next week. Hello. Here, I know we've made Monday. Put the light on. We've made Monday. Good evening. Hello. Welcome. Come on in and sit down and put your wallet down over there. It doesn't matter. It's lovely to have your company on our brand new streaming night. Yes, Mondays is the new Saturday and the new Wednesday, all through the summer months. And it's Hinckley District past and present live. Yes, here I am in good old Blighter. I'm in the middle of Hinckley. And it's great that so many people have remembered to join us, because I must be honest, I was thinking, I don't know how many will remember, but you're doing me proud, as you can see in the chat room this evening. And already plenty in. I'll just have a quick look down there. David Blow was the first one in. Well done, David. First time he's been on time like a train. Also, Daniel Coburn. Hi, Daniel. Hope you've had a great Easter. I really do. Queen Bee. Yes, we've been out with Queen Bee today. We went to the museum. We brought her back as well. She knows I love her. Just a minute, I shall get things thrown at me from Sue in a moment. Pat Galloway's here. Oh, it says, good evening to Hinckley's favourite couple. Happy anniversary. Thank you. I'm blown away by how many people have said, congratulations, well done. She should have murdered you years ago. I know, but so many people saying happy anniversary. So thank you if you've done that. It means so much to us both. It really does. Kevin Beasley says Burbage is waiting. Yes, good old Soppy Land is waiting for the programme tonight. Mary Blake is here as well. Maureen Harris wishing everybody a lovely Easter, including our Enery. And say looking forward to the programme as well. Pat Galloway with a great big cooey. We haven't done many cooeys lately. Let's do a few. You can't beat a few of that. And it's lovely that you're here this evening. Tell your friends, look, we're all over here. I was with Jan Kirby earlier on, who was obviously nodded off. And I forgot to join. She said, oh, I'll be there later on. Should be watching something on the TV. But however, listen, if there's nothing on the TV, there's not much going on here, really. But it's lovely to have you here with us tonight on our very first Monday live stream. We are confident it will, of course, grow. Today, we've been to the museum, as I mentioned earlier. Great to see the new exhibits showing my age because they've got the knitting machines out, not them sort of knitting machine. They got the sock knitting machine out, and I was just showing the guy how I used to work at that particular model. It was great and lovely to see plenty of people supporting the museum. It's going to be open now every Saturday and Monday. That's a new thing. They're going to be open on Monday, so it's a Saturday and Mondays, 10 till 4. So please make sure you go along during this season, and saying the season runs till October. But I should be constantly reminding you to go in there and have a look round because it is fascinating. It really, really is. And really enjoyed our time there today. In tonight's programme, well, to get you nicely, very shortly, I want you to make sure you've got your cups of teas ready and your biscuits and your dunkers because I've got my advert. The HDPP mug here with my cup of tea. And it has got tea in. You can see it. I better be careful. I'll be dribbling down my front in a moment. And, well, I'm going to take you on a nice walk down Castle Street tonight. We're going to start at the very top by the Castle Tavern and slowly wend our way all the way down into the marketplace, showing you pictures of, you know, how it's changed over the years and stuff. And we can all relate to Castle Street. I mean, Castle Street is Hinckley, innit? So we'll be doing that very, very shortly. And we're going to have a nosy from our Steve as well. We're one nosy behind his latest nosy, so it gives us a week's buffer. Because I know he was posting up yet a new nosy, so we're going to be sort of one behind this. So we'll be having a nosy as well. We've got 6 of the best, and indeed a wearing Hinckley. So we've got quite a lot to be getting on with. So would you mind if I have a slurp of tea first? I've even got my tea here. If I could... I'm not going to move the camera because if I move the camera, if the lead comes out, it all goes strange. We've had a little technical issue before we came on air, but we sorted it. I've got my tea here already, but I said to Mrs. G, I won't be able to have that for quite a while because I've got a lot of talking to do, mainly the narration for our walk down Castle Street. Okay, let's start things off then and get moving along the way. First of all, the great news, of course, is that at last it's there. You can buy yours now and getting good reviews so far. Our latest DVD commemorating 100 years of Hinckley War Memorial. You can now get your copy from Jasper's or the museum when it's open. And you can get your version on USB stick or indeed on DVD. Jasper's have got the USBs, by the way. But go along and get it. All proceeds to local good causes. That is now available. Make sure you go get because you've seen a couple of reviews already on the group. Ian Walker actually said he's learnt so much. He thinks it's it's really, really good. And I would agree with him, but I'm biased, you see. Anyway, so good. And also, looking ahead to our next social night, actually. It's a bit scary, this, because normally the social night always follows our scanning session. And, of course, it was me thinking, Wednesday, it'll be the social night. And, of course, no, it's not. We're always the 4th Wednesday, and of course it depends where the first of the month falls as to how you count that. And of course it's actually a week on Wednesday. Our Lynn is going to be there. The fascinating world of dolls. This is going to be good, guys. I mean it. And you'll be able to come and look at close. These things are really, really good that Lynn's doing. Come along. And we'll also have on the night, I'm going to bring some surplus books, local books, etc., which, you can help yourself to make a small donation. So there's going to be that there as well on the night. So looking forward to that in 10 days' time. Should be good as well. Now then, we all said about the museum being open. There's a quick reminder for that. Are you now ready, missus? If you are ready indeed for our first part of the evening, which we'll better get the anagram out the way first. The aniogram. This is a fun one. But it's an easy one tonight. Supplied by I Make Tough Anagrams, Jeff Wallace. But tonight, I'd say it's an easy one. We've nearly used Jeff. We need more. We need more anagrams. This is about the last one I think we can use of yours tonight. So with the anagram, like we always do, we quite simply say, work the anagram out. And if you know it, you can say, yeah, I know that. But then keep it to yourself. Don't put the answer in until the end of the programme when we tell you, okay? So here now, this will start with a bit of music and it'll go in the wrong direction because it always does. Right, here we go. There it is. The anagram question. The cantankerous sir, I see. But it's easy, really. It's not as difficult as it looks. Have a quick look at that. And the clue is birds' nests were made here a while ago. Yes, it's true. It's no longer there. So that just about gives it all away completely, I would say. So I'm not going to really add much more to that. So rearrange those them said words. The cantankerous sir, I see. Rearrange that and that will give you a place somewhere in Hinckley that's no longer there, but birds' nests were made here a while ago. It is quite easy. It's smacking you in the face, really. So I won't say no more than that. Have a go at that, and when you get it right, remember, in the chat room, just put, I know, got the anagram. I'm sure you will get it right. Okay. Right, so that is the anagram question this evening. What about our where in Hinckley? Well, our where in Hinckley this evening, we've gone back down to street level because we've used all but one of Jeff Wallace's flyovers. So, Jeff, if you want to fly over again and do a few more, we can do that. But in the meantime, I was out, well, Sue and I were out and about not so long ago. And I saw this little thing and I thought, that's a good one. That's a good one. Where in Hinckley is that? Yeah. Looks like they've been painted up in the Leicester colours. Whether that's out to do with it or not, I don't know, even though it does say Leicester on it. Yeah. Where in Hinckley can you find that? This building has featured before in Hinckley, in our Where in Hinckley. But since we last visited, they'd painted this, so I liked it. There you go. Where in Hinckley can you see that door corner protector thing about of? Yeah, that's it. We'll give you the answer at the end of the programme. Wow, isn't it all good stuff here? Listen, this programme isn't just thrown together, it's positively chucked. Yes, right. Okay, quiet in the chat room now. They're all trying to work on the anagram. Thank you very much for that. Remember, somebody just said, I want another look at the anagram. Oh, there's always one that wants to see it. There it is, look. The cantankerous sir, I see. Rearrange that, because it's not there now. Rearrange that, and you will get exactly what we're looking for this evening. And the giveaway clue, birds' nests were made here a while ago. It is. It really is fantastic. Okay then. Right now, what I've got to do, why I'm talking to you, it's difficult. We'll have to do another behind my shoulder so you can see. I have these screens in front of me, and sometimes it's a case of I have to get other things ready on my second screen before I can show you on the screen you're looking through. Just a minute. I'm getting there now. Excellent indeed. Right, so it's totally working blind. So I promised you a walk down Castle Street. Yay! Our memories of Castle Street go on, and we can all relate to it, really. So with no further ado, let me just see if I can get you to be able to see what we're looking at. Oh yes, Castle Street through the years. Yeah, that ain't the picture I've got on my screen. What's that all about? Oh dear, don't you just love it? This is the opening screen to it, and I can see it perfectly on my other one. Maybe what I need to do, can you bear with me a minute? I think you need that one. Now, I'm just going to, this is very unprofessional, ladies and gentlemen. I am just going to alter this because it's been It's been mucked up. Hang on, I shall do it for you because how many people... Look, this is all clever stuff, you know. There we go. I think that just about does the whole screen for you there. Now then, oh, that's it. That'll do. There we go. Now you're seeing what I'm seeing on my preview screen, I think. But, oh dear, there. Got it. You are now in full screen. Sorry about that, folks. These things happen. Castle Street. We're going to start at the top of Castle Street and hopefully go through this and see the various changes right at the very top. And once again, I make no apology because a lot of you have seen these pictures before. But we're starting at the very top of Castle Street. On the left-hand side, London Road, of course, going out of town. On the right, that's the entrance to the Lawns, where today the Lawns Health Clinic, well, it was the Lawns Health Clinic, it's now a little business centre. And as you can see, down there on the right-hand side, the way down into the Lawns. On the corner, the factory, it was a box factory, it was a hat factory and a clothing manufactory. Been a few things over the time, and it was knocked down, I think, in the 1950s. And that's generally the same view today, to give you some idea, thanks to Google, showing you roughly the same sort of view. And this top end of town has actually changed. Although we instantly recognise it, it's changed quite a bit, as you'll see from these various pictures. There's a great picture of the Castle Tavern. Now, I always have to say this: we're not focusing so much on the dogs and the hunt that's going there, because we don't get political. But it's to show you what it looked like. The Castle Tavern, as I've mentioned before, luckily still survives today as far as the building, sadly not as a pub anymore, but all this has been totally redeveloped. I'll give you the updated picture in just a few moments time. And notice how the cottages jutting out at a right angle from the Castle Tavern, these were knocked down to make the entrance into the Lawns a lot wider. But look at those kiddies in the upstairs window of the Castle Tavern, looking down at at the wet spectacle of the hunt meeting at the top of Castle Street. Now, I'm assuming they met here and then went down London Road and towards the outwards, and that way, I would guess. But once again, you can see. This was how life was. People used to turn out to see the hunt and stuff. So it was one of those occasions. There's the same view today. And as you can see, instantly recognisable is the main Castle Tavern building. In latter years, it was simply called The Castle. But you can see now, I'm just comparing it. So that's today and there is yesterday, just to give you that quick comparison. There we go. Once again, a lot of the present day pictures coming from Google. Okay then. So there's that view into the Lawns, literally into the Lawns. There's the factory on the left-hand side as we look straight down to the Lawns. And we can see a lot of the buildings in the Lawns that we still know and love today. There's the same view. Makes you think, doesn't it? How we get used to it to our eyes, but what those people in the past would make if they was to come back and stand there now and think, oh, the factory's gone. Oh, so let's just show you. See, that's the view, how it was, and there's how it looks today. It's not quite as good as our transformations, but it certainly gives you the idea. Let's move on a little bit more then, as we take the view looking from the Lawns to the top of Castle Street. And look at the Osmuck. I always have to mention the Osmuck because, if this was smelly vision by now, you would be really going, pwah, pwah. And this is the same view, just a little later. Look at that. And you can see the common building in the background, of course, is the tattoo shop, or the old pet shop as we used to call it. Yeah, there it is. It's exactly the same. Absolutely incredible changes to that part of the town, of course. Okay, then. We're turning around now and looking into the top of Castle Street, of course. And many of you would have seen these pictures, which we've posted many times, of course. The Castle Tavern is sort of behind us on our left-hand side as we look down towards the junction of Hill Street, where it says garage. That's, of course, would be Payne's Garage later. And in the distance, you can see, well, then it was a bakery, but of course, you would know it more as the Corner Chemist. Today, of course, it's Marmalade Meringue. Yeah, but look over on the right-hand side, and you can see the new inn, and immediately behind that is, of course, the Crown and Anchor. One thing you don't see today is the blinds. The shops used to come out and bring the sunshade blinds out to keep the sunlight off the off the goods, be it clothes, be it fruit and stuff. And we can see there Smith's fruit and vegetable shop. And once again, everything on the right-hand side and pretty well all the way down that view, the buildings are indeed still there. And there it is in the modern-day view. I think you'll agree we pretty well got in the same area as you could see, courtesy of Google. I will now have a slurp of tea. Lovely. Okay, let's move on a little bit. And once again, this is, and you've seen these pictures before, I know, but for the benefit of those that have, that haven't seen this before, this is, of course, what is now the tattoo shop, and they've made a great thing about that at the beginning. But let me just show you what it was like before. This picture, courtesy of John Denny. This is how that shop looked before what it is. Yeah. Now then, let's just see. Let's just move on. I'm doing admin work as well while I'm doing this. Talk about that. It's not a problem. All in control. But that's a lovely one. That's another great shop. Look at the stuff hanging up outside. Look at the rabbits hanging up from the above the shop door there. Brilliant. Okay, right, we'll move on because today there's the very same place today, you see. And this is what I love doing on Hinckley District Passman. And I think, to be fair, Hellcats, the landlord, has really made a lovely, proper painted job. Remember how shop fronts used to look like that? Yeah? Brilliant. Then, yeah, good. Now then, let's move on still. And people in the chat room are enjoying this as well, I'm pleased to say. In Upper Castle Street. And once again, make no real apology for showing these again because they're always worth a show. As we look down towards the new buildings junction there on the left. And as I always like to point out, of course, is the headstones, those gravestones in the front garden. Yeah, don't worry, nobody's buried there. That was Mr. Morley, the stonemason's shop. And he operated, he lived there, and of course, and that's where he did his business, operated his business from. And so you think, oh yeah, they are headstones, yeah. So there we go. Interesting, but once again, delighted to say that everything you see in that picture is indeed there today. There it is. That's pretty well the same view, give and take. And once again, as the pictures come on, as you will see, just over the road, and I love this picture because it really does. Mr. Fawkes' fish shop. I was talking to Jim Darlaston in St Mary's Church for our scanning session, and he was talking about you don't get wet fish shops anymore, and it's true, you don't. Well, this is one of about 3 that was in Hinckley at the time. J. Fawkes, and there he is, standing there outside his shop, and I'll show you where it was for those of you that don't remember this in just a moment. Notice that he's holding a fox under his arm in the doorway, look. Isn't that great? Super. And here's the same place today. Hardly seems possible, does it? And this is when it was the Castle Fish Bar. It changes every week, by the way, this does. 1 minute it's a Thai eatery, then it's a takeaway, then it's a fish bar. I don't know. But look, if you compare the two, look, there you go. You know, the past being very much present today. And that's one thing, I really, that part, like Maureen Harris says, that part of Hinckley doesn't really change that much. Well, it doesn't really. So I totally get what you're saying there. Okay, then. I mentioned earlier on, and you've seen this picture many, many times, but it's the only picture we currently have properly of the new inn pub, which you can see on the right-hand side there, and then the Crown and Anchor. But once again, great that the buildings are still there, even if they're actual, no longer pubs. Many of you will remember the Wool Shop M.A. Lawton, the wool shop and stuff, and Oxfam used to have a shop there as well, many years ago too. Okay, there it is today, the very same look. As you can see, the building's still there. So we have to be grateful for that, regardless of what goes on there. Oh, I'm pleased to say that Dangerous Den has joined. Dangerous Den, where I thought you were asleep. Yeah. He says, my granddad drank in the New Inn. I think quite a lot of others did too, didn't they, mate? Okay, lovely. I'm showing you this because obviously now this is all estate agents, but this is one of, I think it's 8 free-offment cottages which were built in the town. Somewhat I think it was 1853 off the top of my head. And that's how it was looking in the 1980s. Yes, in the 1980s, this part of Castle Street was looking like that to what it is now. You see? Once again, I'm showing you how the past is very much present here in Hinckley. And it's a good one, isn't it? I know a family that used to actually live in these cottages, a long time ago now. But yes, they used to live there. Okay, let's move on, go a little bit further down. Lots of us from this end of the woods will remember Palmer and Collier. This, of course, was also Charlie Chamberlain's shop. And it was a newsagent's right up until more recent times. Lots of paper. I remember going in here to see, Mr. Chamberlain and his daughter Mary, I think it was, that used to run the shop. And of course, Bernard Palmer would have this particular, would have this shop later on. Sadly, Bernard no longer with us, as you know. Now then, let us see about moving on and showing you it today. Strands, we've got more hairdressing shops in Hinckley. Now I don't need one. There is more hairdressing shops and stuff in Hinckley than what there ever has been. So just think about that. Anyway, just one of those thoughts. But once again, lots of work going on in Upper Castle Street to bring some of these buildings up to date. The view straight into Grimm's Lane, as it was then. Now new buildings, of course, looking straight across to the Methodist church there, and the Palladium and the drill hall on the right hand side, in the middle there, and to sort of the way it. I thought it was going to show the way it looked today. Obviously not. I missed a picture there, but this one's good because this is how it used to look. Opposite what is now Jasper's store in Castle Street, looking back there towards what would become later the Black Knob shop. Yeah, we always talk about the Black Knob shop. It was a sweet, by the way, before anybody starts. Yes, yeah. And Ian Roberts said, must have been having a bit of a jest letting those cottages get into a sad state on Castle Street. I agree, mate. Absolutely agree. And Kevin Beasley said, I delivered the papers to Bernard's mother in London Road. Absolutely. Very, very well known. There's the same view today. So let me just go back to show you. This is before. And I also remember there because the J Mill shop is up later on would also become the Army and Navy shop for a little while in the 1960s. And there's the today picture of the same area on a wet Castle Street. So it must have been summer when that picture was taken. Remember the birch twig? A very interesting building, actually, which sat right next to the Crown Hotel. Did you know that Dangerous Den had his engagement party at the Crown Hotel? Just in case you didn't know. And also, where the pigeons, the doves, I can remember the doves nesting in that circular, in the pinnacle at the top, in the apex there. I can remember white doves nesting up there many, many times. And the birch twig, very, very popular with the ladies. And also, this is how it looks today. Still retaining some of its original charm, actually. As you can see today, instantly recognisable, so it is. Okay, let's move on. We're getting down Castle Street now. As we see, I only put this on the other day on the group. The Sunday School Treats, 1911, I think this one's dated. And and I always draw people's attention to the entrance to the stable yard to the Crown Hotel through that archway, and you can see horses' heads saying, and it says between the two horses' head, "Good stabling." Isn't that grand, eh? It really, really is. In fact, I'll point there. It is just there, just above there. Really good, and so patriotic. You can almost hear them, that drum banging as it went up to Hill. Brilliant, yeah. And Maureen Harris said, "I remember the birch twig, ouch." And Dennis Perkins said, "You beat me to it, Paul." I know. But isn't that fantastic? Once again, happy memories of times gone by. Now, if I have my last slurp of tea here while you absorb this particular picture, taken round about 1911. Excuse me. Now then, noons, of course, dominating the initial scene. But take a look on the left, because that's the interesting bit. If only we could just turn around to the left and see Castle House in this particular picture, which would be standing back off Castle Street. You can see the dropped curb, the cobbled dropped curb down here. You can see it here. Like I say, there were grand gates there'd open up, and then there was like a big turning circle in front of the house. And instantly, though, we still Noons is such a recognisable building in Castle Street, so you instantly get your bearings where where it is, of course. And as the picture changes, here's another view, obviously taken in the late 1950s, early 60s, actually, showing what would then be the Co-op building standing in the grounds of what was the Castle House. And but look over the road. You can see already some of these shops were going to be knocked down. But there's Lawrence's bookshop. There's St Bernard's. That was the Black Knob shop, just for those of you that didn't know. St Bernard's, the hairdressers, of course. And next to that, the fruit and veg shop, of course, which we all know and love, that was Four Seasons in recent times. It's a bathroom place now. You can just make out Richardson's, which is this shop here, Richardson's. Next to Richardson's was Eve's. How many of you remember Eve's? Going that delicatessen. And if you could not get the best ham was from there, straight off the bone. It was brilliant, absolutely. And a little bit further down, this would be Russell's that we'd know. Now, later on, of course, these buildings would be demolished, and so would these bit further down. To make way for the buildings that we've got today. But all the same, a fascinating picture. Let's just have a closer look at Noons, mantles, millinery, and general draper. And I thought that was a wheel hub. Well, you always find wheel hubs, but I thought, no, it can't be a wheel hub. It's obviously a lady's hat. But look at that. If you could just go in there and soak that up. See the big, you can see the big gas lamp here right on the corner window. And it's lovely to think that, that corner window is still there today. And this is one of the few buildings, that has it got listed status. They have to be really careful. Today, of course, we know what it is today. Yes, it's blooming a hairdresser. This is the view to Castle House, which I was just mentioning, and I love it. So once again, imagine the Co-op store, or Jasper's as it is today, right in this very view. I just don't know how in later years, and I say it every time I mention Castle Hill House, how in 1976 this fine townhouse would be knocked down. I can't get my head around how they got permission to knock it down, but it's gone. It's never coming back. So this scene is truly amazing. As I say, absolutely great. There is a little close-up of Castle Hill House. Once again, I know you've seen some of these pictures before, but it just seems incredible to think, many of you going up there for your divot, because when the Co-op took this over, this was their offices in the town, and I remember going into this place many times with my mum and going up the stairs to find the cashier counter to get your divvy. Imagine if that was still there today. more things that could be done with it today. But it's a sad. I know we sometimes look through rose-tinted glasses, but it really is a shame. And just for the people that don't know, Jan Kirby has now joined us, by the way. Hello, Jan. She says, I've only just remembered. What did I say earlier, members? I said, I bet she's nodded off in her chair, didn't I? And good evening to Alan Slater. A very wet day here. It's a bit chilly now, I tell you. Maureen Harris is saying, yes, I remember Castle House, going to get my mum's diver. And Alan Crop, I worked in Castle House. There you go. There you go. Ivory Coast is saying to Jan, pull for you, Jan. I know. Okay. Let's get there's the same scene today. So for those of you that can't visualise, let me just show you. That's the old Co-op store, which still stands today, but behind a modern brick frontage. But the same view going back there, looking at that, amazing, isn't it? What was going on? We will never, ever know. Okay, that's it today. When it was the Co-op, and as I've told you many times, when I've shown the transformation of the Co-op from that to the picture you just seen a few moments ago, even the kids of today prefer the old building. They don't like this building. Now, I'm delighted to say, of course, Jaspers are in there today, and Jaspers have been very, very good to HDPP. So thank you very much if any of the Jasper staff are watching. Yeah. Okay. Let's get on a little further in Castle Street. Now, we're talking about the Co-op. Now, this was the Co-op, the original first Emporium that was built in 1861, right? And this was below Noons. A lot of people forget this one because they always think of the later one that was built in the 1930s, the one we've just been seeing. But this is the original Co-op Emporium. Look at the staff there, all lined up. I like the little girl crying her eyes out. I don't want me picture. Talk. You can just see that, and that clock, which stayed in Castle Street for many times. Now, don't get me on about a clock in Castle Street. You know how I feel about it. We need a clock in Castle Street, a working clock, please. Why can't HDPP get one or something? We've really got to get a working clock in Castle Street. It's great to have St Mary's Church there, brilliant, but we need a working clock in Castle Street. Okay then. Oh, right. Okay then. Oh, by the way, Jan Kirby said, I was engrossed in my book, not asleep. Okay. Anyway, and I'm glad that Jan has now joined us. Anyway, she said she was talking to Phil Noon at the museum. He was demonstrating the sock knitting machine. In fact, yes, I did see Phil, but I didn't go and speak to him. I really should have done, actually, so that would have been good. Okay then, we're moving on. We're making our way. Here is that Emporium. There is that clock. You see what I mean? And it was down below Noons. Let me just show you again. So we just go back. There's that building. There's that big clock, look. And then, as you can see, this is how it was. This particular picture was 1970s. And later on, of course, the Co-op would own all this section. You could go in one part of Castle Street in the Cower and then come down later on. And come out a different entrance. But there it is. And of course, there it is. It's in more modern times. Just that one particular section. And I always have to refer to the Co-op fire in 1981 when this building was severely damaged. The top section was all burnt off. And they actually knocked a floor off this, and so now it's only a single story as opposed to a couple of stories out. But there it is today. Okay, Alan Slater said, I got lost in Castle Street when I was very young. Did my mother try to abandon me? Listen, Alan, I don't think you're alone in that. A lot of mothers would walk home and think, I forgot the baby. It happened. We know it happened a few times. So I don't think you're on your own there, mate. But it can psychologically very disturbing. The view into Castle Street from Church Walk, it is here. And look at those fine buildings. Once again, I have to just surmise that people just wanted to, look to the future. And buildings like this was deemed as old-fashioned and not very good, but I think they are. So look at those lovely Georgian windows there. it would have been so much more interesting. I'm going to show you I think I've got the present day. There it is. You see what I mean? I don't know. Once again, maybe I've got my rose-tinted glasses on. But there we go. That's how it looked early 1960s. And once again, these would be demolished for these flat roof things, which, of course, they're always having trouble with flat roofs. Ian Roberts will tell you, and lots of other people will tell you, flat roofs are no good. You need a pitch on your roof, that's for sure. So there we go. Let us go on, because I'll be there all day. Here's the other view, of course. We all know this one. The turning into Church Walk from Castle Street, the gas showrooms as they were. They'd just been vacated at this time, by the way. And they're gone to their new showrooms at this time. But there is the view. And, of course, it's still very much there today now. Look at that. Do you see the sign there? And I'll just point it out to you. Just here it says, to car park. And in the middle it says free. You won't see any of those signs around now in any town, really. Very rare to find free car parking. But there you go. Yep, free car parking as it was then. There's the same scene today. Now, bearing in mind for people that don't live in the town now, indeed, who live in far-flung places like New Zealand, Alan Slater, for example, you can now see this is that very same, let's just make the comparison again so you can see. Yep, there it is. Very interesting, isn't it? Notice how they kept the market stalls out, because they leave them out longer than what they used to do now. But there you go. But the flags are out, as you can see there. So it must have been around St George's Day. Many people will remember the Victoria Hotel. This stood where, what is today almost on top of Woolworths, if you like. But now I always say this story, and I think I've told you before, that the landlord, for those that hadn't paid their slate up by the end of the week, used to put a big list up in the window. Big list up in the window saying who hadn't paid their slate this week. Name and shame. I think it was a good thing. So imagine the shame seeing your name in the window. Oh, better go and pay me slate. They don't do that now. Good evening to Carol Beasley. We knew eventually you would remember. She's late again. You can stay behind 100 lines. I must remember my Monday night with HDPP. Okay. All right. Jolly good. I'm glad you're here, Carol, all the same. Okay, then, we've just mentioned, there's another picture of the Victoria, just getting its delivery from Hoyes and Sons, of course, of Clarendon Park in Leicester, and that grand day. Lovely picture there. And once again, these pictures turned up our scanning session before, yeah. As Dave B says in the chat room this evening, the developers would never admit it. More money to make knocking it down and rebuilding. I know. Now then, here we are. Tesco. Yes, in 1968, Tesco opened. Yes, and the shiny steed is there, and this caused quite a stir in Castle Street, but. When stores used to open, used to be a real big attraction in the town. And look at those prices in that window: 1 and 3, 10 and a half, 1.5 bob, 3 and 11 with your Green Shield stamps. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And and Tesco at the time, because you got to remember, originally Tesco was actually in the borough. It moved up here because this was the man with the axe beforehand. Yeah, you see, we're going down an old memory lane now, aren't you? So, anyway, as you can see, and today this store has been split now. The Tesco store has been split into two. It's now another spectacle shop and hearing aid shop and something else. I can't remember what it is, but anyway, that's it. I managed to find this great picture of Woolworths, the original Woolworths store. Now listen. Look at that. The 3 and 6penny store. This is Hinckley's very same FW Woolies. And next door, remember Hilton's, the shoe shop? Well, what would happen in later years, of course, Woolworths would extend, on the right-hand side, they would extend up Castle Street to give you the store. We're going to see pictures of that in a minute. Yes, that's right. Someone's just yes. Ian Roberts saying the area around the top end of Church Walk is a tad bland these days. New period frontage would be of benefit to Hinckley's community. I totally agree with you, Ian. It is a bit bland. This is a great picture, though, isn't it? I'm just leaving it on the screen a little bit longer, because ultimately, this would be say extended and whatnot. But notice how. Today, obviously, there's about 4 steps up to the store today. It just goes to show how they had to, so the whole lot could be on one level. There you are. Look, you see, we all recognise Woolies, and of course, it's B&M today, as we know. But you can just see Hilton shop there on the left-hand side. Let me just go back to show you the difference again. There. Isn't that great? Just love these old pictures. I really, really do. So that was Woolies. And I'm glad that at least, sadly when Woolworths, ceased to trade, that at least we got B&M, because B&M Bargains is still a very, very popular store. And I'm so glad, because, it's to have this store empty in the middle of the town would have been tragic. I also found this picture in them are the days when Britannia Centre, you could get into Woolworths from Britannia Centre and then pop out in Castle Street or vice versa. Can you remember that? Can you remember walking into Woolworths, walking around and saying, I'm going to go to Boots. Well, I'll go through Woolies while I'm on my way. And then you'd pop out into Britannia Centre. This is in the Britannia Centre, as you can see. And so it was really, really good, wasn't it? Really cool. When the Britannia Centre opened in the mid-1970s, to have this walkthrough was very, very convenient. So, and you can see the tills by the doors there as well. Absolutely great. Good evening to Mushroom Man, who's joined us this evening. Nice to know you there, mate. And as he's rightfully saying, please remember to like and subscribe. And you get a ting when you do that, Right. Lovely. We love our Woolies, don't we just? We're going down Castle Street now on this Wednesday evening, a bank holiday. We're just reminiscing. Put any of your comments in the chat room. And as I said, Dangerous Den saying, I remember Woolies' side entrance. Now you have mentioned it. Oh, there we go. There goes another like. Like the video and remember to subscribe. Oh, and another one. Thank you. The Hinckley Times, when the Hinckley Times was, this is taken just after they moved I think it was 1974 roughly. But I did post a picture the other day on Hinckley District, past and present. And that door here on the right-hand side was open. And you could go through this door. And through a maze of little warrens and jitter, and basically end up coming out by the side of Pickering's in the borough, and all the factories and stuff that was behind these was always fascinating, and it was so good. But like I said, these buildings, thank you, another like it is, and just on the right hand side up here, you can just see above here was the rugby club. I never did get to go to the rugby club on the first floor above these shops here, but you could just see this curved window. That was the rugby club. Before obviously it went down to Leicester Road and stuff. And now David Stanborough's joined us. Hi, David. He said, it's always nice to walk down Castle Street. It is when we're looking back like this, David. I agree. And Jan Kirby said, wasn't the squash court somewhere there? Yes, I do believe there was some sort of squash court down there as round in this vicinity as well. Little, hidden away down corners and stuff. Yeah, it's great, Let's move on as we're strolling down Castle Street. You've seen me mention this one times. And it was playing, this was actually playing today in the Hinckley District Museum. They've got the HDPP's transformation DVDs, and as I walked in, this happened to be on the screen at Harrison's, and I've talked about this many times, so I won't go on too much, other than the fact that I thought, well, another like, thank you, £5 Look, I love these prices in the windows, £5 There's Mr. Harrison, his daughter, we're pretty sure it must be, standing in front of the shop with a pram. The great big gas lamps on the outside. Can you see them here? I just point them out for the benefit of people who have not seen this picture before. I know most of you have. And look, the children's outfitters, fancy goods, absolutely great. And of course, today, it is today, Ryman's, isn't it? Of course. But we're coming down because now Harrison's shop is now in the background of this particular picture. Here's Harrison's. Look, this shop here, next to Wills and Son, the printers. And of course, you will remember Clark's, of course, in the background there, Henry Clark's. And this is so much this Sunday School Festival picture going down Castle Street. Look at these little dogs here. Aren't they wonderful? And coming down Castle Street. But look at this. It's the cart that tells you a lot. Priory Farm. J Hall Priory Farm Dairy, Hinckley. You see, look into pictures. Always look in and look back. And you can just see behind this flag, Wardle's shop sign. It was Wardle's. There also used to be a big pair of glasses here because there was an optician's here too. But you can just see Wardle there as well. And isn't that great? But I love every picture of the town when we see them like this. Once again, just to give you your idea, this is what was Harrison's shop just here. Cures, remember Cures in the town, yeah? Henry Clark's next door and so on. And this was the Home Guard marching down Castle Street. We've got the flags out as well. And today, this building here, of course, is W.H. Smith, which was back in those days when it was the Hinckley Permanent Building Society. There's Ryman's now. That's the shop, of course, of Mr. Harrison's, a H-A, a couple of R's, a high, and so on. And still, it's just the bottom that's changed. Of course, above, still the original. It's got to be good, isn't it? Okay. And we've been talking about the wide loads that used to come down the town. I was having this conversation with Jim Darliston on Saturday morning in St Mary's Church. Yep. And he was on about, he said he's got some pictures and he's going to bring them to me. He says, of a big yacht transversing Castle Street. He says it was a great big yacht. And he says, and I photographed it turning into Regent Street. He says, then I've got it going up Castle Street. He said, I'll bring it in for you. And this is because in those days, this was the main A47. And a lot of people forget that. So this was the main route through the town. Straight through the town you'd come. And one of many, many wide loads. Yeah. So, and people in the chat room at the minute are just mourning the passing of Henry Clark's shop. And I totally agree. It was a great shop, wasn't it? I mean, it's now Costa today. Why people have to have Costa, but there you go, they do. But, yeah, such a wonderful shop. And you could always find something nice. Okay, it could be expensive, but if you want something special, that's where you went for it. Simple as that. Those big lampposts in Castle Street as well. Big fluorescent things. Great big things they were. Weren't they, which were very distinctive of the Castle Street of the 50s and the 60s. We're slowly making our way down Castle Street. We've just doubled back to show you Hilton's store and stuff. And remember John E. Matkin electrical store. Of course, all this is now the entrance to the Britannia Centre. And the rugby club, here's the main windows to the rugby club on the left-hand side. All these, say, would be lost to new development and shops and stuff. I mean, look at these lovely arch windows. Don't they look something a bit more interesting to look at? Absolutely it does. No doubt about that. I'm sure you'll agree. And that is what they did. They knocked them all down, they did. This unusual, rare view, because obviously this is the entrance to the Britannia Centre today. But look at the view, what it affords you while you've got this chance. You've got to take a picture, haven't you? In the distance, you can see Atkins Factory in the right over at the back there. The row of houses going up the middle, this is Council Hill. And you can just make out the Concordia Theatre just here on the right-hand side. The chimney from Atkins there. You can see Croft motorcycles in the garage and stuff. Probably weren't called Croft in them days, but you know where I am. So we're looking over into Britannia Yard and the back of Clayfield and Holt. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And of course, a view you won't get again. Yeah. So there you go. Once again, we're walking down Castle Street on this bank holiday. And we've just turned around to have a glance up. And I posted this one literally the other day on the group just to show you instantly recognisable to our eyes. This picture, I would say, certainly well before 1923. It's probably more about 1912, something like that. But how we love our Castle Street now, it somehow seems a bit wider these days than what it did back then. Many of people have got obviously their menu. I mean, look at these Georgian windows. I mean, look at that. Why were these? I've never known why these were knocked down. This is just below Bell Entry, roughly, just a bit below there. But Yoxall's, and they had a calf upstairs. And I've heard lots of people say, "Oh, it was really nice, real special treat to go into the calf upstairs." Downstairs, it was a cake shop and stuff. And I always have to comment about Birchnell's shop here, because remember how they used to display the fruits, how they are there. Look, see how they're all piled up, and they just look, oh, I'm going to have one of them because they're so well presented, wonderful stuff. And I think I've got a picture coming up, I think, showing them after this was closed. I think it follows this picture. It will do in a moment. This is Lee's. This was roughly where Greg's shop, just below where Greg's is today, if I'm told right. And that lady standing there must be a Ms. Lee. I don't know. She looks quite foreboding, doesn't she? But there you go. Memories of Castle Street. And how interesting. How those fake windows in the middle probably could have been bricked up for window tax, but all the same, still makes an interesting feature and tells a lot about the building, doesn't it? There's another look back up Castle Street there. You can see the sign for the Hinckley Times here, and once again, you can see also the rugby club that is here, and one or two other shops that were also along here would have been Melia's and things like that. On the other side, J.C. Bonsoir, which today, the building's gone, but of course it would be the Thornton's chocolate shop. This is Bell Entry, you can see here and stuff. So, and there's that clock being in a very useful... Look, everybody can see the clock and it's working. You know how I feel about a clock in Castle Street. I'll always say it. We're moving on. We've come further down Castle Street now on the original Burton shop. Now we're getting towards roughly where Whiteman's store and things like that was many years ago, and Freeman, Hardy and Willis and places like that. Because these buildings would be knocked down and redeveloped with the buildings, those concrete buildings that we see today. The look back up once again, you can see we're literally just turned around looking back up, and the building on the right it's very Dickensian. Look at it, isn't that great? I'm trying to see the name. Does that say Farndon? I think that says Farndon. And over just straight opposite, you got Allsops. And look at the shoe shop. You can see the stuff outside and stuff. And once again, looks to be around about 1910, something like that. And but still going up Castle Street, people still say, it's a bit of a way at trek up Castle Street, isn't it? And when the wind's in the wrong direction, let's face it, you don't have to, but it's very drafty, isn't it? There's Whiteman's shop, and I call them the concrete buildings because obviously it was quite a trendy thing to do in those days, was to, build everything pretty well in like a concrete sectional thing. And of course, they're still there today. The Burton, you can see the Burton shop, which this is the building that replaced the earlier picture I showed you. Freeman, Hardy and Willis, Whiteman's. Once again, they still stand today, but even they are looking somewhat tired today. They are showing their age. That's all I shall say. Oh, look, another nice working clock in Castle Street too, from the County Building Society. And you will remember, of course, Beasley's cake shop here as well. Brilliant stuff. I'm really enjoying my walk down Castle Street. There you are today. Pretty well the same view. And as you can see, one at the Greg shop, still surviving. I'll just go back to show you from this one. Look, it's still there. John Temple. It's just come to me. It was John Temple's shop, wasn't it? And there's pretty well how it looks today. We've lost a lot of wonderful old buildings down on the right-hand side in this picture, as you can see. Right, oh, hey, all my pictures are gone. I'm sure there was some more to go on that. Hang on. It just suddenly went. Just a bit. Sorry about that, folks. Sure there was more to go with that. I'm just going to check that out. Bear with me while I check that. And people loving those pictures in the old chat room. I reckon that I had a sudden ending there. I'm sure that I'm just checking all the pictures while I'm talking to you, because I'm sure that finished early. It did finish early, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why. Can you bear with me just a second while I get it back on the screen and continue where we suddenly left off, because I thought it doesn't. We go to Whiteman's. This is the picture we was on. Sorry about that. I obviously caught the wrong button. Meanwhile, back at the presentation. Oh dear, I don't suppose it wants to come on now. Oh dear. Well, how are you doing with the anagram, by the way, ladies and gentlemen? Are you doing okay with the haniogram? Yeah. Well, hopefully. I think it's that one. There we are. We're back on track now. We'll come back to the anagram in just a minute or two. Let me just get this lined up on here, because this normally is done. It's a right cock, isn't it? Let's just get this into perspective for you. Normally this does itself, but because I've had to launch the program again, this is why you're getting these funny pictures. There you go. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know why it did that. But we will move on regardless. Let's see if we can do that indeed. Moving on. There's Whiteman's. Yes, exactly how we'd remember it, ladies and gentlemen. Wouldn't we just? Yeah, great. Lovely. And so I'm whittling this down a little bit now, because a lot of people will say you'll be wanting another look at the anagram. People that missed it earlier on, like Jan Kirby and Carol Beasley. I must not miss the anagram, right, on 150 times. We'll come back to the anagram in just a moment. The bottom of Castle Street there, an ever popular, one of those typical Hinckley shops, that is well publicised. Literally right on the corner it goes. There we are. Pridmore's, there for many, many, many years indeed. Along with the Star Tea Co., which also had their store around in the Castle Tea Rooms, what we know today, round the corner there. Okay, then. We've almost made it into the marketplace, but once again, I know you've seen these pictures before, but very quickly, you can see them here at the bottom of Castle Street, and this was obviously as they were starting to think about knocking all the buildings down on the right-hand side. Yeah, okay. Moving swiftly on, this is a pretty rare picture showing the how the bottom of Castle Street looked after they knocked all those buildings down. You can see the marketplace on the right-hand side. You can still see the traffic lights. We still had traffic lights then. And you can see the George, or the Bounty, as it would be known in them days, down there on the right-hand side. Okay. And still to come this evening, we're going to have a nosy from our Steve, so don't worry, that is coming up as well in tonight's special broadcast indeed. And there's the other view, looking on that corner to some... these are rare pictures, and of course, you won't get that view again until they decide to knock down what they put in their places. So I think these are, splendid examples of what it is. Couple more to go, and then we are at the end of this. There we go. That's how it all looks today, as you instantly know. And you can see the changes that Hinckley has had. Okay, that's it. Right, I've got you right. Okay. Phew, sorry about the little incident there, but there we go. Good evening. It's lovely that you've joined us this evening. It's our live stream on a Monday night. We're going to be here every Monday night throughout the summer months now. And... lots of people have got lots of comments. Carol B says, I must not be late again. I must not be late again. Exactly, Carol, you have got it. Daniel Coburn said, it's a shame, knocked all down those buildings and put rubbish in its place. Well, yeah, to a certain degree, it is. Now then, Alan Kropp said, very good, thank you. Alan, I'm glad you like that. And like I say, it's something I knocked together pretty quickly. I'm sorry about that. For those people that are late to our broadcast, let's give you the anagram. There we go, the anagram. The The cantankerous sir, I see. And it is easy, David Blow, it is easy. Take it from me, because birds' nests were made here a while ago. And I nearly gave it all out then. Birds' nests were made here a while ago. Rearranged cantankerous sir, I see. That will give it you. Now, it's not there now. It's now long gone, as far as we're concerned. But many of you will definitely remember this. The cantankerous sir, I see. Birds' nests were made here a while ago. Yeah. Meanwhile, Maureen Harris said, it makes me feel old when I can remember the before and the after in the, on some of these buildings. Absolutely. I know. Now, so that was that. But what about our where in Hinckley? Right. I've got to find where in Hinckley. Now then, where in Hinckley? There we go. Where in Hinckley can you find that particular bit? I'd say since I last went, it's been painted in blue and white. But I thought, well, in that case, it's worth doing again then, isn't it? Where in Hinckley can you see that? I'll give you a clue. There's two of them, one on either end of the entrance. But where in Hinckley can you see that? Meanwhile, Carol Beasley, making up ground, said, I know it. She's obviously on about the anagram. I know it. And Dangerous Den said, well, I enjoyed the walk down Castle Street, but I need a taxi back up again. I'm sure we can sort something out for an old, and I really, really do, mate. There we go. So we've got Where in Hinckley going. We've got the anagram going. Have a go. It's all for fun. It's great fun. And as I say, a lovely, enjoyable walk down Old Castle Street, past and present, really. There's a couple of pictures there I've got to put in the right order. But anyway, there you go. Sure you enjoyed it. Now, what else can we do this evening? Well, it gives me a chance now to draw breath as we're going to go for a nose air. You people have really taken to Steve Picker and his nose airs. And he goes all over with nose airs. Really, really does. And he's become part of our regular broadcast here at HDPP. And he always finds these interesting places. And it's okay, some of them not necessarily Hinckley. But it doesn't matter because they're local to us. And lots of you have told me how some of you actually go out and find some of these places. So Steve's bringing that in. So that's great. Anyway, I'm now going to sit back and enjoy a noser with the man himself, Steve Picker. Are you all sitting comfortably? Are you all ready? Here is that man. All the girls go, oh, what a handsome man. Oh, look at those rippling muscles. Yes. Oh, and look at that JCB. Oh, he's got a big JCB. Yes. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here he comes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Nosy himself, Steve Picker.
Only joking. Hello, hey up, and how you diddling? My name is Steve, and once again it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. And you'll know who this is now, this slob here. This is Nosy Nev. I tell you what, I have to triple the old Bonio account to get him out. He won't come out for any less than 20 Bonios these days, you know. He's on a bloody fortune. I can't afford it. With the price of everything going up through the bloody roof. Oh, you're worth it, ain't you? Hey, you're worth it. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, you might be thinking, Steve, why are your knees dirty? What you been up to then? Well, I can assure you, it's all innocent. All will be revealed. I forgot to do the intro first, to be honest with you. But I'm actually down. We've got some unfinished business in today's video. Long story short, I had something half planned with Delighted Dave. which is the best part of 50 or 60 mile away, but I couldn't do it because I've got a problem with my car, so I didn't want to go far. So I've got unfinished business down here. This is Grace Dew former limestone works, the old quarry there near the actual ruin, and we've got some unfinished business in Ugglescus as well. So without any further ado, let's get our sends in gear and go on air nosy. You know the drill. Do you know the drill? You ain't bothered, do you? You don't get a monkey's toss, do you? Right, on that note, shall we do it? Come on, Neve. Right then, so we are indeed back in Grace Dew Lime Works. I mean, you wouldn't think so this day and age. It's a haven for wildlife, but you can see the sheer banks here that were dug away to extract the limestone. Now, around about a year and a half ago, I brought you down here to show you this. Now, I didn't know what this was at the time. Now, my good friend, Andy Jones, he's been doing a bit of research into this place, and he's been in touch with the Friends of Frankston group, and in particular, he's been talking to a lady called Nita Pearson, and she's done some quite, extensive research into this area. And in particular, she's found a bit of fascinating history out about this place as well. So all credit will go to her, with what I say about, this place. But I didn't know that this place, this quarry, dates back to at least 1793. Now that makes me question something there, because the Charnwood Forest Canal goes past the outskirts of this quarry. Now that opened in 1794. Now I can't find any mention of it anywhere, but there must have been loading lime from this quarry onto barges on the Charnwood Forest Canal. Next door to this quarry, I imagine there was probably a little tramway as well that was probably a couple of 100 yards long, something like that. They must have been doing it, because we know that they were extracting limestone from Barrow Hill Quarry up at Osgathorpe, and also up at Breedon at Cloud Hill, don't we? But it's this here that's fascinating me more than ever, because when I first came down here, I didn't really know anything about it, to be honest with you, and I still don't. I've got a couple of theories. I think that the railway company possibly put this here between 1881 and 1883 when they constructed the Charnwood Forest Railway. And I'll show you a close-up in a minute. I'm going to clean it up a little bit as well. That's what the shovel's for, that's what the spade's for today. But just here, there's a metal pipe protruding through this brickwork at the back. And I think they were pumping water up to the railway, which is over there, I think, somewhere. I think they put a pipeline in and they pumped water from this quarry that may have been, I'm not 100% sure, this might have been out of use by that point. They were pumping water, in my opinion, up to the railway and filling engines up as they passed. They'd stop off and have a water refill. But the other thing with this is, it could be a little bit older than 1881. It could have been some sort of steam-powered power tool system for the extraction of the lime. I really don't know, but I'm going to go for the first option, in my opinion. Anyway, let's give you a bit of a close-up. What are you doing, Nev? Hey, don't you dare pee up my phone stand, you little git you. Right. Now, as I say, I'm not certain as to what this is. I came down here with Andy Jones a couple of weeks back, but I think there was probably some sort of pump mounted onto here, and of course you can see that pipework there that then goes up the steep bank, and the railway was over in that direction. Where are you going, Nev? Stay down here, I ain't chasing you up there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean this out here and see what the dealio is, because I don't know, there might have been once a spring underneath here or something. So I'm going to clean that out anyway and see what the dealio is, because it's a fascinating contraption, whatever it is, isn't it? Right, so whilst I clean this contraption out, I'm going to tell you a bit of a sad, tragic story about something that happened down at Grace Dew Limestone Works in 1839. Because it was on a Saturday in June 1839, and around about 4 p.m, when there was an almighty thunderstorm in the area, and around a dozen men employed by a Mr. Thomas Angrave, who was actually a part owner of the lime works took shelter from the storm in one of the lime kilns down there. But due to the severity of the storm, two men, Robert Harris and William Wood, decided to make a run for a cabin that was around about 100 yards from the kiln. They were both around about halfway to the cabin when they were both struck by lightning, which resulted in an injury to Harris on his left shoulder. But it was a different story for Wood, who was unfortunately killed, aged around about 33 years old. He was found motionless with his face in the ground and his clothes on fire. Mr. Harris said that both men were not carrying any tools at the time. It was believed that the lightning had struck Mr. Wood's left ear and travelled down his body to his left thigh, with the greater part of his body being severely scorched. And it's absolutely terrible, isn't it? You just can't imagine what the poor chap must have gone through. So, very sad. And, when you walk your dog round there and what have you, you can't ever imagine that sort of thing going off down there, can you? But there was also another incident that occurred in the quarry itself, because Thomas Angrave, who was the gaffer and half owner of the lime works, he had a disagreement with a Mr. John Lyle, a bailiff who had tried to serve a warrant to one of Angrave's employees. And Mr. Angrave actually tried to obstruct Mr. Lyle in the execution of his duties and threatened to blow him up. And Mr. Angrave created a scene, and all the men who he employed came out, and there was a lot of foul language, as you can imagine. And when the men dispersed, apparently there was a loud bang, and Mr. Angrave actually offered his apologies to Mr. Lyle, and apparently they settled the matter out of court. But all that information I've just told you was sent to the Andy Jones from Nita Pearson, who's a member of the Friends of Grace Dew, so it's a big thank you to her. Thanks, Anita. Right then, so I've just cleaned this contraption up a little bit better than it was before. I've not gone mad with it. What it is, because I think this was a pump once, I came down here with Andy, like I said, a couple of weeks back, and he said, I'm sure he said to me, you might find there's a pipe underneath that frame that goes into the ground, and that's what I was digging to look for, and indeed, there is. I'll show you it in a second. So for me, I personally think now that this was definitely a pump installed between 1881 and 1883 when they built the Charnwood Forest Railway through here, just over here I think it was, and they piped this water through that pipe all the way up to the railway line to fill the steam locomotives up. But I'll show you what I've found anyway. Right, let's show you what I'm banging on about. So at the back of here, look, you've got what appears to be a lintel there. Now, I did have a bit of a poke beneath that in that hole there, but the little spade, it don't go far through there, so not sure what's going on with that. But it's this that interests me, and for me, this confirms it to be a pump. Because you've got this pipe here, look. See that there? And what looks like a bit of a valve there. Not certain. And for me, that's going into the ground. There's spring water or something beneath there, and they're pumping water, drawing water up, and they're then sending it up that bank via this pipe here all the way to the Charnwood Forest Railway. Could be absolutely wrong, but hopefully there'll be someone watching this who knows what I'm banging on about and who's maybe looked at this before and can confirm whether it is or not what I'm saying it is. Right then, so me and our Nev, we're now studying what remains of the Charnwood Forest Canal down at Grace Dew. Now, just over my right shoulder over there are the ruins of Grace Dew Priory, and just over here to my left, over on the Frankston side of the canal, is what remains of the old limestone works. And, for me, it's nailed on, really, that there must have been loading up limestone at this point here somewhere. There must have been a bit of a wharf or a bit of a dock here, and maybe some sort of crane system to get limestone onto barges here in this canal. Because, I mean, I've done a bit of research myself into the Charnwood Forest Canal, over quite lengthy periods, and I've never seen anything mentioned about the limestone from this quarry here at Grace Dew being loaded onto barges here, which does surprise me a little bit, because at Barrow Hill Quarry over there, you've got the old limestone quarry near Osgerthorpe, and at Cloud Hill at Breedon on the Hill, so that does surprise me. And look at all this here, look, all this wild garlic, beautiful, isn't it? But yeah, I wish this old canal could talk, I really do. Anyway, let's press on. Right then, so here you are, look. You've got your limestone face here. Clearly see it's limestone. It's good stuff, to be honest with you. Look at that. Ain't bad, is it? Of course, the stop there. I think there's a bit of a... I think that's where the cottage is on that side. There's a lodge that I think once belonged to Grace Dew Manor. I think it's up that side anyway. Can't quite remember now, but its land it's up there somewhere. But look at this, look. I'm all dirty. I know what my mother would have said to me. She'd have said, where you been? Where you been, me lad, wouldn't you? Anyway, without any further ado, we've got more unfinished business to go and look at now, over in Ugglescott, closer to home. Do you know what I mean? Where you off? Come on, this way. I tell you what, you can't get the staff, you can't get the dogs, can you? Where you been? Hey. You've always got to piss up something, ain't you, when you're on camera? Anyway, yeah, camera, like Jonathan, what saying I? Right, let's get over to Ugglescott. Come on. Right then, so for the second part of today's video, I've brought you down here, just on the outskirts of Ugglescott, at Donington Heath actually. Got a little nature reserve here. Now just behind the camera, we've got the River Sence. Now I need to get in the River Sence because if you remember a few weeks back, I made a video about the mill again, and I think I found the actual tail race near the bridge on Station Road. So to access it, I've got to get in the brook. Now behind the camera, it looks like proper Indiana Jones territory behind there, do you know what I mean? So we've got to get in the brook. Now I've just looked over the bridge at the brook and the water level looks lower than it was last time. So we'll get in there and we'll go on our nosy. As you've seen, I've not brought Nosy Nev down for this part of the video because I knew it was going to be too difficult for him, do you know what I mean? Anyway, let's get in there. Right then, so do you want some amazing news? I tell you what, I can't believe it. Just shows you what a bit of being nosy does, do you know what I mean? So last time in that video down here at Ugglescott, I showed you over the top of this bridge here on Station Road. I showed you that there because I thought that was the tail race of the old Ugglescott mill that were demolished in the 1930s. Well, I was wrong. That's not the actual tail race. That actually goes to a drain in the road, and I know that because every time a car drives over the manhole cover, it echoes down there. But when we stood on that bridge last time, what we couldn't see was that square hole there. And just behind that square hole inside, believe it or not, is the former tail race of Ugglescott Mill. And the brickwork, it's got to be 18th century. It's really, really old. Anyway, the ground is so soft in there, I'm going to get stuck if I ain't careful. So I'll get you in as far as we can. And then for safety reasons, we're going to have to get out because it's not very safe in there, to be honest with you. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get on with it. And do you know what? I was so excited when I found it. It's fantastic. Anyway, let's get in there. Right, so when you make these videos, a lot of the time you go out for a recce and you don't find what you hope to find. And today I have, and this is a 10-minute walk from my house on my doorstep. Now I've just stood down here, as you can see, got those big size 12 Wellington boot marks there in the mud. Now I can't go all the way in here, I'd love to, but it's not a very good environment because, mud like this, when it's been undisturbed for years and years like this has, it it has poisonous gases underneath it, and I've actually just disturbed some, and it actually stinks like rotten eggs. Not good for you, so you've got to be very careful, do you know what I mean? But I'll show you what I can in here. I'm absolutely fascinated by this, just the fact that that is still there, do you know what I mean? Anyway, let's show you inside, come on. Right, so got to be careful because my boots were sinking down a good 8 or 9 inches. But just look at that. That is the tail race, the former tail race of Ugglescott Mill. And the fact that that's still there and not been closed off after all these years is amazing. And of course, when they did some works to the actual bridge above us here, they added these concrete outsides. I mean, they must have actually widened the road slightly. I think that's what that's about. But just look at that. And it's so unfortunate, that we can't go up there because that mud is deep. And you don't want to be getting stuck up there with no phone signal, do you know what I mean? But the fact that that is still there in northwest Leicestershire is amazing. And it's got to be, like I say, probably 18th century when the mill was actually built, towards the back end of the 1700s, I think. So very, very old. So there you go. The first time it's probably ever been seen on camera, I imagine. I tell you what is worrying me. There's a lot of dead fish in the river sense down here. You can see there, you've got a bullhead there, look. You've got a little bullhead or a stickleback behind that. And there's quite a lot of them, and that worries me as to what's going in this water, because you've got another one here as well, look. Yeah, so that's not good. And I actually approached this area from that end. It was a bit awkward getting in here, and what I should have done was actually come through this culvert here. So that side of the road goes up to the cemetery, so I'm going to go out that way. I didn't realise I could actually get through here. I thought it was too low, but yeah, that is very concerning as to what is in this water, because like I say, down there I counted probably 20 or 30 dead fish, so that's not good at all, is it? Bloody hell, the things you have to do, eh? Oh, we love it, don't we, really? Ah, there you all are. You beat me out, did you? I tell you what, I'm so happy we found that tail race down there. I really am. Can you tell? That's made me day, to be honest with you. And, you know, when I noticed on the maps that the actual outfall for the tail race was, you know, where it is, I didn't expect to find it, if I'm honest with you. I thought it'd have been all sealed off and infilled, but we've seen it. We've seen a fantastic piece of local history, you know, a local piece of underground history. But that's not the end of today's video. There's something I want to show you further upstream as well, so come on, we better get on with it, haven't we? But yeah, well chuffed with that. It's made my weekend, that has. Love it, don't I? Right then, so I've now brought you a few hundred yards upstream on the River Sence, and I don't know if you'll see them where you are because of the glare on the water, but starting about there, you've got a line of circular wheels that look like old grindstones, you know, baby grindstones, if that. Now, of course, Huggleskoot Mill used to be up there in that direction, about 300 yards away, but I'm pretty sure these ain't grindstones. They've got like a metal prod sticking up towards the surface. So what was going on here, I ain't got a clue, and I really wanted to come down here and show you because I know there'll be somebody on there that knows what's going on here. So anyway, let's get in the water and actually show you what's going on beneath the surface, because it's a bit bizarre really. You've got a line of them. Weird. Right then, so in the end, I actually decided to stop recording because there was too much glare on the water. So I thought, oh, I know, I've got a good idea. Why don't I just take photos of them and do that? Because I'm a bit daft, and I. So as you can see here on this photograph, I know you've got the glare on the water, but you can make out 4 of them in a line there. You know, what are they? Bizarre, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. I'd love to know what they are. They're doing me blooming head in, to be honest with you. And then what I did, I took this photograph and zoomed in here, look. And you can see with that one, at the centre of it, it's got like a metal bar sticking up towards the top of the water. So what they are, I ain't got a clue. But please let there be someone out there to put me out of my misery and tell me what they are, because it's doing me blooming head in. Right, well, unfortunately, that concludes today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been something a bit different, something a bit varied. But, you know, I had unfinished business, and it's a nice local video. And to be honest, I've got a problem with my car at the minute, so I didn't want to be driving too far, do you know what I mean? But, you know, I'd absolutely love to know what them things are in that brook. So I'm hoping, you know, if you're watching this and you know what they are, please get in touch and let me know what they are, because it's been doing my head in, to be honest. But I'm absolutely made up, you know, that I found that old tail race of Huggleskoot Mill back there. I just wasn't expecting that, and you know, what an incredible piece of local history that is. Now, you know, the bad thing about this video was all those dead fish. Now, just before I ended the video, I bumped into 2 chaps that actually work for the environmental agency, which was quite, you know, it was quite lucky to come across them. They were checking the water, and it has been noted. So whatever's going on, it's actually under investigation, which is nice to see, because I must have counted approximately 30 to 50 dead bullheads and sticklebacks as well. So shame that. It's not nice to see, is it? But hopefully they'll get it sorted soon. Anyway, just before I leave you, I just want to say a big thank you to every single one of you, because last night, Friday night, I actually hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So big thank you. Bless the lot of you. It means a lot. When I started this channel, I didn't expect people to really be interested in me gallivanting about here, there and everywhere, all over the hockey. But, you know, there's a lot of you that are apparently. So, but let's keep growing the channel and have a laugh while we're doing it. Anyway, I've got to get going because I've got things to do. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe and share it. And I'll see you all very soon. Take care of yourselves. TTFN, bye for now. See ya.
And there he was gone. Ah, Steve, my word. That was a good noser. Absolutely. When I saw those round things in the in the river there, I thought, oh, cocoon. Who knows? Maybe aliens have already been to Woodlescott, and I don't know. But they look there've got to be something to do with the mill, I would have thought. I don't know exactly where or how, but that was really good. And as you can see, Steve, by looking at the chat room there, lots of people enjoyed that one, mate. And well done, and keep on coming. And like I say, we are sort of like one behind Steve now. And I thought, well, if we've got that little cushion, the days he can't get out, if Nosy Nev won't let him go out, we've always got one in the bag, as it were. So there you go. Lovely. So keep your comments coming for Steve on Mr. Nosy himself. Yeah. Okay then. Now then, here's another chance as we look for the last time on the anagram question. I haven't seen anybody actually said who got it yet, but I'm sure some of you already have. So if you do know the anagram, just say yes, got the anagram. Don't put the answer just yet. Let's just see if anybody can actually say they truly know what it is. I think Dangerous Den seems to have got it. But let's just see, okay? And in a few moments' time, we'll take a look at where in Hinckley as well. So if anybody, yes, Dennis Perkins is definitely confirming there that he has the anagram. Can we have it back now, please, Dangerous Denya? We'll ask you in just a moment to put the answer up. So, yeah. Oh, Maureen Harris. Well, we got it earlier on, she says. Okay. Yes, so you did, Maureen. I remember now. So there's somebody else that's got the anagram. Yeah. I think I'll register on Let's Explore when this finishes, says David B. And why not? Congratulations to Steve, by the way, getting 1,000. That is brilliant. And it just encourages you to just keep going, doesn't it, Steve? It's like when we got our over 12,000 members the other week, you know, and you think, well, people still keep joining. We must be doing something right. Yeah. Okay. So the anagram. Okay, then let's get this out the way then. So you can put your answer up now, by the way, quite simply. So the cantankerous Sir I see. Can we have an answer? Has Mrs. G got it? I'm surprised, Mrs. G. Seriously, I am very surprised. Haven't you tried? Oh, she's trying, yeah. Okay then, David Steinberg comes straight in with the answer. The Seiko Chinese restaurant. Of course it is. Yes, the Seiko Chinese restaurant. And birds' nests were made here a while ago. There's the clue. Birds' nests. I think that was good. I do. I think we ought to give Jeff Wallace a round of applause for that one, because I think that actually, Jeff, that was really, really good. Yeah. Okay. Let's just hear it for Jeff there. Yeah. Good one, Jeff. We need more. Oh, that's enough. It won't pay. Listen, we need more, please. If you can send us some food for next week, that'll be good. Well done, Maureen Harris. Yeah, the Seiko Chinese restaurant. You could always check your time in there, couldn't you? Seiko time? What? No, probably not. So that was that. Now, it's now time for the answer to where in Hinckley. What about where in it? Carol Beasley, I knew that. Bless you, Carol. There we are. That's the where in Hinckley it was, because I've just pressed the wrong button. But it doesn't really matter. Yes, we were showing you this here. I was showing you this. Look, where in Hinckley was that? So you should know. Yes. Okay. There it is, where in Hinckley. But if you don't know where it is, yes, we are, of course, in Druid Street. and Sydney Brocklehurst place. Used to work there. That's how I know it so well. Yeah, and yeah, thanks, Ian. Yeah, that's the place. And this is just, say, in Druid Street, almost at the end of New Street. That's right. Yeah, quite right, David Allen. Druid Street it is. That's where in Hinckley was. That particular part of the building built in 1911. How do I know that? Well, it says so at the top there. Wonderful, well done. Trying to make Monday nights the new Saturday night, if you like, and I think we've managed to pretty well pull that off this evening. We've had a great nose there, we've had a lovely walk down Old Castle Street, we've had our Wearing Hinckley, and we've had our anagram. What more could you want, I say? I tell you what more you could do. Remember to go out and get the new DVD. It's available now. I promise you will love it. It's very, very informative. It's on sale now at Jasper's. Just go up to Jasper's. They have their stock. Then just ask for the new HDPP DVD. It's called Their Name Liveth Forevermore. That's the official title. And we've produced this because it's 100 years. 100 years since the unveiling of the memorial. And next month, by the way, we are commemorating this actually in at the memorial on the 20th of May. Sue and I will be there, and lots of the town dignitaries, school pupils, blah blah blah. But it is a Friday because it falls on a Friday. But we're going to be there, and obviously you might want to come along, and then probably next door to get the DVD as well. I would also suggest as it also says on the sleeve notes, that if you get this one, it's also worth getting the roll call. Remember the roll call that we did in last November with all the names read out, and wherever possible a serviceman's picture is shown. These two DVDs together make a very, very special set, and I would highly recommend you do that personally. And not only that, you've also opened the good causes, because all the proceeds from the sale of the DVDs go to good causes. And in this latest case, Greg Droach is going to donate a certain amount of the profits to local cancer charities as well, because that's how we've agreed to do it this time. So there you go. We've been so busy tonight, and it's been lovely that most of you eventually, Carol Beasley, Jan Kirby, finally managed to get over on a Monday night, and it's great. Now let's just remind you, the social night, I say a week on Wednesday. This is going to be great with our Lynn. Please come along. It's going to be great. And of course, if you haven't got your tickets ready for the May social night, remember you need tickets because it's the secrets of Market Bosworth and the Railway. I promise you, that is going to be a great night. I'm really looking forward to it. But you need a free ticket. Pick your ticket up at the next social night ready for May, because that's going to be a super little night, and I promise you're in for a treat. If you happen to be going away, well, more fool you, you are going to miss a absolute treat. Why not cancel your holiday and come to the social meeting instead? You know you want to. Anyway, I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. People are starting to go now. Thank you, Albert Knowles, for joining us this evening and contributing into the chat room as well. Maureen Harris says, another good night, Hinckley DP. Thanks, Paul and Sue. Enjoy the rest of your anniversary. I know. Really taken aback with how many people wishing us happy anniversary and stuff, I'm off in a minute to go and do the washing up, as I normally do. Did you hear that laugh in the background then? You see, she will sometimes make a noise when the microphone is live. But I'm glad most of you have joined us tonight. Thank you for all your very kind wishes. And as I say, still lots to come from Hinckley District, past and present. Remember, it's Monday night. And even at the beginning of this broadcast, I suddenly realised we've got to change the intro. So it says Monday night. More work to do, I say. Anyway, until next Monday night, here on Hinckley District, past and present live, I wish you well. Have a great week, and say we will see you at the back end or the beginning. Oh, people's asking why have we chosen Monday night? Well, we thought Monday night, you've been work, you probably got the Monday blues. Let's face it, remember we used to get the Monday blues, yeah? And we thought, well, a Monday night to cheer you. I think, well, if I get through Monday, get the Monday blues out of the way, I've got HDPP to cheer me up at the end of the day. And I think that works. Listen, that's a good one. I'm going to go with that. And I hope you do too. Until next Monday, take care. God bless you all. See you soon. Ta-da. Oh, hello. I didn't know you were coming back. Here, come closer. Come closer. That's better. I can see you now. Yeah, okay, good. This is the part of the programme we never ever talk about. We don't talk about it because most people by this time have stopped the stream and they go. But if you know when to hang on a little bit, this is the bit to cheer you up and get rid of your Monday blues, all being well, when we give you one or two little dad jokes. Albert No says, I've been waiting for the dad jokes. Right, okay then. Let's see what I can do. Let's see if I can do a few of these. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to see which is the best one. Yeah, I just got a promotion at the farm. I'm now the CIEIO. Not worth a laugh? CIEIO. And I've done this one before, but it's worth it again, especially for Gary Betterley. What do you call a Frenchman wearing sandals? Philippe Philop. I've got to do that one. Stop it. How do fish get high? Seaweed. Amen. What do you call a man with a rubber toe? Roberto. Now then, whenever I jump in the car and engage reverse, I always think, this takes me back. I was doing a bit of DIY the other day, you know, and I got up my step ladder. Well, I never knew my real ladder. And finally, or almost finally, stop it, they get better. Singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth, then it's a soap opera. Yes, absolutely it is. Oh dear. One more. Finally, what does a lemon say when it answers the phone? Yellow? I love it. And if that doesn't send you off with the hiccups, I don't know what will. All right. So on that note, there he goes. On that note, take care, and I'll see you next Monday night, 7:30. Remember to keep it live, to keep it HDPP. Ta-da.